anybody on Facebook. So, have any fairy tales? So if you want any fairy tales read, or you have a particular fairy tale that you particularly like, let me know in the chat. It says I'm live, so I am live on YouTube. I'm also live on Discord. So we're just going to. I'm going to look over here, and we've got. I'm on the Facebook. Streaming quality is just so horrible. We're going to. Oh, hello. Let's see, did it show up? All right, which I do on a semi-daily basis. Sometimes my schedule causes me to change things over a bit, but generally speaking, um, like I said in the chat, if there's any I can take a look, see if I have them on hand, or I can go look for them because I love doing research. And since we're a little bit early, we're about 1 minute early, the live stream ended on Facebook prematurely. Hi, Jim. Thank you for popping in. Now I know the link works for everybody. I was checking on it earlier just to make sure. So, I don't know what type of lag that you believe. It's maybe 5 or 6 seconds. So we'll see. So it is now 8 o'clock, and 2. Yeah, we've got Hans the Hedgehog that we did last time. Are there any fairy tales you would like to be read? At least from me on my Chromebook. Okay, so you're on your Chromebook. So okay. Let's see here. Hello, there's someone else that joined us, and we'll see how that works out. That's more than we had last night, because we got one person. Let's see, we've got Grimm's Household Tales. I've got the second volume, but I've also got the first volume of Grimm's Fairy Tales. So let's see. They've got The Fisherman and His Wife. I've got several favorite fairy tales that are my favorites. Let's see if they're here. They've got The Golden Goose, and I like the Wolf and the Seven Little Kids. Ronald Reagan and the Tale of the Triple. That one. They got Sweetheart Roland, Snowdrop, Lover Elise. We can do, and I think I'm going to do The Golden Goose. And The Robber Bridegroom is a fairly good one. So, see if I remember all those. Let me get down to it. So, let's see. Let's start with Briar Rose, since that is one of my many favorite fairy tales. And River's Sleeping Beauty. And by the way, just giving a heads up, this was written in 1884, so be aware of that. Different style of writing. Let's see. Okay, so Briar Rose. A king and queen, once upon a time, reigned in a country a great way off, where there were in those days fairies. Now this king and queen had plenty, but though they had been married many years, they had no by the side of the river. Tales of the Arabian Nights, Sinbad, and Aladdin. Okay, I'll have to take a look and see if I can find those, because I actually do have a collection of cord beds. So let's start again. Okay, welcome. And this is Brooke. A king and queen once upon a time reigned in a country a great way off, where there were in those days fairies. Now this king and queen had plenty of money and plenty of fine clothes to wear, good things to eat and drink. Garden, little fish that had thrown itself out of the water and lay gasping and nearly dead on the bank. When the queen took pity on the poor little fish and threw it back again into the river, and before it swam away, in return for your kindness, a daughter. The queen had a little girl, so very beautiful that the king would have a great feast and make merry and show the child to all the land. Noble, but the queen said, I will have the fairies also, that they might be kind and good to our little daughter. Now there were 13 fairies. They were 4 red shoes with high heels on her feet, and a long white wand in her hand. And after they gathered round in a one gave her goodness, beauty, another riches, and so on until she had all that was good in the world. Just as 11 had done blessing her, noise was heard, very angry, and set to work to take her revenge. So she cried out, the king's daughter shall in her 15th. However, all the princess was so beautiful and well behaved, the king and queen was left alone in the palace. So she roved about by herself. In the door there was a golden key, and when she turned it in, the door sprang open, and away very, very busily. What are you doing there? Spinning, said the old, and nodded her head. That little thing turns round, said the princess, and took the spindle and began to try and spin. But scarcely had she touched it before the fairy's prophecy was fulfilled. However, she was not dead. She had only fallen into a deep sleep. And the king and queen, who had just come home, and all their court, fell asleep too. And the horses slept in the stables, and the dogs in the court, even the fire on the hearth, and went to sleep. The jack stopped, and the spit was turning about with a goose upon it for the king's dinner, stood still. Cook, who was at that moment pulling the king boy by the hair to get him a box on the ear for something he had done amiss. Butler, who was slyly tasting the jug at his lips. And thus everything stood still and slept soundly. A large hedge of roof or but there went a report through all the land of the beautiful sleeping. After many, many years, there came the king's son into that land, and an old man told him the story of the thicket of thorns, and how a beautiful palace stood in it, and how a wonderful princess